Good morning, everyone. I'm bringing you something quite different this morning, and I'll be covering advanced success strategies. Excuse me. Good morning to you all. Okay. So, greetings to those joining from different parts of the world. What I'm bringing you today is quite unique, it's quite transformational. In fact, a lot of the mindsets, personal development programs that I designed in my academy is to serve those who want to speed up achieving success in business. Okay. So what I've found is that we all have dreams, we all have hopes, we all have aspirations. Everybody does. But what is the differentiator for those who achieve the results that they desire versus those who do not? And I found that the number one problem and struggle is self-sabotage. What you're doing, how you're thinking, who you've become, that is not aligned with everything that you say you want, that it's not helping you get closer to everything that you say you want. Okay? It's actually the only problem I've seen in the world. It's the only, if you know how to eliminate self-sabotage, if you do this work, nothing will stop you. You'll be unstoppable. Okay? You become unstoppable when you do this work. And when you don't do this work, you might feel limited, you might feel constrained, you would continue to feel like you can't get what you want. Okay? It's those mental barriers, it's those emotional challenges and the stories you're telling yourself. So I'm going to break down at least 10 strategies today. Okay? So I want you to grab your pen and your paper if you want to follow along. If you want to really enjoy the transformational power of what I'm about to teach you, then you need to grab a pen and a paper. This is not something you do just in your head listening to me, okay? Because part of self-sabotage is also not engaging and challenging yourself to shift, to adjust, to change behavior. When you don't change, nothing changes. Hi, Angel. Come up to the stage. Hi, Unique. Greetings. This is going to be so powerful, life-changing. Listen, tell your friends to pull up. Tell your friends to pull up. This is going to be really, so grab a pen, grab a paper, a piece of paper, or your notebook. I have mine. I have my notes. I'm going to share 10 different things today, okay? It's going to be life-changing. Hi, Unique. How are you today? Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Where are you joining from?
I now live in Dominican Republic.
Oh, wow. Where were you before?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. I'm hosting this from Chicago, western suburb of Chicago. So it's so great to have you all. Like this session, I've never ever shared this ever before on social media. So, but I realized that every time I engage with so many people, we are not aware of what we ought to be doing and what we ought not to be doing that gets us closer to the results we want. So I'm going to share 10 powerful ways to bring an end to self-sabotage. Right? It's going to be a lengthy session because I want to cover a lot. I have my notes here. It's going to really be transformational. I know that already. So I'm just preparing people to say you need a pen, you need a piece of paper. Okay? So thank you for, and one of the things I'll also ask, I know Miss Angel knows me already. Feel free to stop me if I say something, like, because I can get so deep into these matters that I just go too fast. So I want to pace myself. So feel free to signal, feel free to even on mic and just say, Tony, wait, like call me, right, to stop if there's something I said you did not get, right? So please feel free. This is not I'm not strict, like I'm very flexible on all of this thing because my own intention is that, lives be transformed and that you are really unstoppable in pursuing everything you want. So I'm just giving you permission to just say, Tony, wait, before you go on, right? So the first thing I want you to write down in your notebook is thinking, feeling, behavior. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? What am I doing? Okay, on each of this topic, right? Self-sabotage is tied to thoughts, beliefs, emotions, what's going in your heart. Okay? Self-sabotage is also tied to then what we do because of what we believe and how we are thinking. Okay? So they are all connected. So what am I thinking? What am I feeling? What am I doing? And this is also like feelings, emotions, behaviors, actions, and there's a ton of it. Again, I'm going to dive into 10. Okay? So what am I thinking? This is about awareness, checking in with myself, because oftentimes we are so externally focused. What they are thinking about me, what they did to me, what they are saying about me, right? How does this person feel? Like we care so much about what other people think about us, feel about us, and they are doing. We have to flip it. You have to flip it. I could care less. You actually need to care less about other people's thoughts, other people's emotions, other people's behavior, right? The first journey is to be in tune, be connected to your own thoughts, feelings, emotions. Okay, that's the first journey, awareness. What's going on within you? We are so externally tuned that we in fact, most of people's life, they are conditioned to be worrying about others, and they are trying to please other people. They are living their life to please other people that are not even concerned about them or that concern. Now, when you do this work, you will now actually be able to serve people you care about better. Okay, now you can actually use your life force to serve people, but not be controlled by people. So that's the difference. If you don't do this work, you'll be controlled by other people's feelings, thoughts, actions. You'll be orienting yourself and shaking yourself, and you'll be going through this turmoil, this internal tornado, okay, restlessness, anxiety, because you are not in charge of your own being. But once you take charge and you become in control of your life force, you can now channel your energy to serve people. You can now love better. You can give better, because your life force, who you are, will now shine. You become unstoppable, and you become more deliberate. You become more intentional. You become more effective. So in a way, we tend to put the cart before the horse, right? We are being controlled by things you cannot control, and then the things we can control, we are leaving it's actually out of control. So when your thoughts are out of control, your emotions are out of control, your behaviors are out of control, it's because you've not addressed this. Okay? So don't control what you cannot control, and then leave out of control what you can control. That's chaos. You can actually control your thoughts, your emotions, and actions, and find peace, right? You create peace within. Out of peace, you can serve the world better. But people are trying to serve the world out of emptiness, void, chaos. And now the world is controlling. If the world does this, you complain. You say it's the government, it's this, it's they, them, it's clubhouse, it's this. External orientation makes people blame other people for their reality. This is flipping it out. Instead of abandoning yourself, now you come back home. Okay? So that's the ultimate journey we are going to go on today. How to come back home, how to find peace within, how to find joy, how to find rest, how to find happiness, wholeness within us. Out of that, we can now share and spread that joy. Are we together? Unique? How does that sound? Any questions so far?
Yes, I love it. Sounds great.
Yay, awesome. Good. Okay, so you've written thinking, feeling, behavior. So let me start with anxiety. Let me give a disclaimer. I'm not I'm not a therapist or anything, but I'm well studied. I'm a trainer in my line of even working, as a coach. I'm also a spiritual mentor, a Christian, faith-based minister. And in my line of serving entrepreneurs, coaching, guiding, I also have an entrepreneurship school. I'm an author, right? In the world, I work with government at the highest levels, all on and on and on. In my journey, I've encountered so many people, right? And in a way, I'm in tune with the human experience, with my own humanity, my own experience, and in engaging with people at the highest levels all over the world. I'm kind of more practiced than an average person in connecting to the condition, right, of our humanity. So I'm not an expert in terms of academic, I don't write academic or in these topics, but I consider my experts in the practical side of life, not in the theory of life, but in the practice of life, in the daily discipline of, right, cultivating meaningful relationships, living a successful life, and pursuing the life of my dreams. And out of that is what I share. I share the practical, not the theory. Okay? So, you've written thinking, feeling, behavior. Let's start with anxiety. Okay? There are several emotions that close you up, right? And actually, bows you into, it freezes people up. It's actually makes people not make movement, progressive movement. And anxiety is one of those things, right? It's about trying to control, outcomes of the future, right? In terms of what you think will happen in the future that you have zero control over. Okay? And one of the solutions, so I'm going to be sharing at least 10 solutions if you go on this journey with me today. One of the biggest solutions to anxiety is to actually bring your focus into now, into this moment. Presentness, right? Being present. People talk about mindfulness, like bringing your focus and attention into this present moment is the cure for anxiety. As long as your focus and energy and time is projected into a time space that you have zero control over, and what you are seeing and projecting is not favorable to you, you'll be anxious. Okay? But where your power is, okay, and even life is lived one moment at a time, because that future, when it arrives, it will arrive in the moment as well. So you actually have to shift yourself to be somebody that owns the moment, that sees the moment. And so when you sit with the moment and then you go to that, I told you to write 3 things: thinking, feeling, behavior. Okay? Thinking, feeling, behavior. So to cure, when I say cure as anxiety, for you to bring it under control, let me just use that phrase, bring it, I would say cure, because trust me, you can completely eradicate anxiety. If you remove your focus from whatever brings you, right, stress, that you have zero control of the outcomes, if you can just sit now and just ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? So it's taking inventory of my thoughts. You can breathe if you need to breathe, and just ask, what am I thinking of right now? What am I feeling right now? What am I doing right now? And trust me, if you can just write it down, okay? Write it down. Because most times we don't slow down enough to actually give names to our present state. Okay? Your present state. Okay? Because if you can just come home now, you actually realize that you can find peace. Because nothing really is, unless you are at war. Okay? Yes, there might be things around you don't like. There might be circumstances like it's not favorable. Okay? But when you come back home and say, but right now, in this moment, if you have loved ones, you have people who love you, you have kids, you look around you, you have a roof over your head, you just had breakfast, you realize that many good things are happening to you right now. Many favorable things are happening to you right now, because when you laser focus on one thing that you think in the future is about to come at you, that you have no control over, you raise and you boil your own blood. Like you create chaos within yourself. But if you say to yourself, what can I do right now that can mitigate or put a stop to that thing? Okay, in the world of business, we strategic planning, we talk about risk assessment, right? Risk mitigation. I'm not saying you go into denial. No, this is not into denial. What usually happens is that your awareness that potentially something unfavorable might come at you in the future. You are aware. What you are supposed to be doing is not just being aware. You're supposed to be planning and mitigating and coming up with a strategy to minimize the impact of whatever it is that your soul is saying watch out for. So what ought to be, information, watch out for this, don't let this happen, come up with a plan to address it. All of a sudden, people get locked into the identification of a potential issue, but they don't move their own state of heart into solution problem resolution. Okay? Because oftentimes, this is just information of what you need to prepare for, right? You need to prepare for, or you need to make a decision about right now that will help eliminate whatever it is you think in the future you don't want to see. So you realize that those who live only in the future, they will procrastinate the actions they should be taking today. They will not take it, and they will replace that with anxiety. So sabotage, self-sabotage, and anxiety, they are best friends. Right? Procrastination is also the friend of all of these things. Because somebody that is used to procrastinating will always be anxious. Okay? Before I dive into that, let me just give time. I welcome Cabs. Angel, welcome to the space. I see more people. Akofa, watching, Isa, Miss Lucy, Oyi, and I also see on the other platform, Queen Shalakwe, podcaster, go like. Thank you guys. I think I missed somebody there. Thank you. Let me move this back. Okay. Welcome everyone. Any thoughts, immediate reaction, unique? Cabs, come up to the stage, guys. The more you dive into this and you actually speak, because one of the things, again, I'm going to share like more than at least 10, if you stay with me today. One of the things that I want to encourage, maybe I should even bring that forward. Self-expression is one of the solutions to self-sabotage. The practice of self-expression. Anybody that doesn't self-express will implode. You will collapse on yourself. You will weigh yourself down. Because thoughts carry a lot of weight, particularly negative thoughts, unexpressed, will create toxic internal state of mind. So self-expression is one of the solutions. But anyway, I have my notes. Get your own pen, get your piece of paper. Again, this is going to be life-changing. I've never shared this on social media before. So unique Cabs, anybody wants to react to what I just shared? Oh, go on.
Like I said, you always have gems. I am going for a walk, and you are my walking partner today, or this room is my walking partner today. Just excited to listen and where I can to share. So thank you so much.
Oh, that's amazing. Has anything touched you so far? I've just introduced the topic and shared a few things.
Yes, when you said people who are procrastinators will always be anxious, I was crossing through my mind and thinking about times I've been procrastinating. And yes, yesterday I completed something that I'd been procrastinating for about a week and a half. I just felt so much better. And I felt encouraged, and it made me take on another task. So action helps you take on more action and get more done, and then feel confident And this month, I'm doing hard things. I'm doing a triathlon next Friday. I registered for it 3 days ago. And, my sisters have been encouraging me because they went. And so I'm encouraging myself to do that. I went on a stage on Twitter with a lot of people with differing experiences, views than myself. And good morning. And I'm making myself get in uncomfortable spaces because it's time for growth and expansion. And if you always remain in the same enclave that you always keep yourself the comfortable zone, then some of the things that have been laid on your heart are not going to come to pass because you're not stretching yourself. You're not learning about yourself in a different way. I've also learned as I grow older the things which I thought I could never do or thought I never had the capacity to, only to learn when I started doing them, I can actually do them because I have built up the capacity over time. But in my thoughts, I always thought those people are the ones who know. Those people are the ones who can do. But when you put yourself in a situation, so I'm being encouraged to take on more difficult situations. And it's okay to fail. You have to get over the fear of I'm going to fail or I'm not good enough. And you're constantly, it's an internal battle that I don't think ever ends. Yeah, I don't think it'll ever end for me. But what's different is that despite thinking like that, I still choose to make myself feel uncomfortable rather than emotionally soothing myself. And then also, as well as making sure that I try to put myself in environments and spaces that feed and edify. Because sometimes you can't get that from outside there, and then you're struggling with something. See, like I'm walking past a small fountain.
It's about it's about
I love that song.
It's about how we experience life. It's actually about how you're experiencing life. One of the things I say is that with our mind, when you encounter things in the world, when you encounter things, places, and people, our mind comprehends, right? Takes in data. There are data points. And then in order for our mind to save it, to save it up, you have to come up with a story. And a story is a conclusion about what's just happened to you or what you just saw. The mind, loves stories more because stories can be recalled faster than data and facts. So the facts may be A, B, C, D. But trust me, in your heart, in your emotions, that's what just happened that you're an observer of. There's a story you have to come up with to save it into your memory. And many of the stories can be destructive, constructive, or progressive. And you program yourself, right? So two people may encounter the same thing. One will say, oh, what an amazing experience. Another will say, what a crazy person. And they will file that story. And once you file it, it becomes you. It becomes part of you. Okay? So that's something. The other thing to watch out for, and this is going to be like if I can convey this and if you can understand, it's going to change your life completely. Action can only be taken in the moment. Action, impact can only be made in now. Now is the only thing you can punch, that you can act in, that you can contribute towards, we always work and contribute towards life in now. So when you start thinking about tomorrow, listen, tomorrow is not in your hand, it's not in your control. There is no way right now that you can jump into tomorrow and do something about tomorrow. But what you can do today, the decisions, the quality of the decisions and actions you make today can make tomorrow better. This is the responsibility. The action you take today can make tomorrow better or worse. So you're actually the one creating tomorrow's reality. That anxiety is warning you to be careful of what you are doing to yourself right now. That if you don't change your action, behaviors, and thoughts, you will create an unfavorable tomorrow for yourself. And so, when anxiety comes and brings your attention to certain things, guess what happens? Procrastination comes in and say, don't worry, we will do it tomorrow. So awareness will come to you. Go to school, invest in this, start the business, this. Your employer is this, the government might do this. Oh, your bills. Oh, this. Information is coming to you and saying, do something about this thing, right? As the creator of your reality, this is an opportunity to shift, shape, invest in that tomorrow, so that when that reality comes, it's more favorable. But guess what? Procrastinators will get that same information and they will not be able to prioritize that activity. And they will say, you know what? No, not today. That's the disease of procrastination. You say not today, you say tomorrow. Tomorrow comes again, gives you the same warning. Wah, wah, wah. The warning gets louder. Wah, wah, wah. This job. Wah, wah, wah. This company. Wah, wah, wah. You don't know what you're doing. Wah. Warning, blasting. That's what gives you an anxiety. Warning sign. Something is going wrong. Something is about a warning sign. But instead of calming down and investigating and interrogating what that warning is about, and then committing to adjust or take necessary actions to mitigate whatever that warning is about, right? To always say, okay, what can I do right now? Is there anything I can do right now, okay, that would help me minimize this thing that you are feeling anxious about? And I don't know what that is, right? It's definitely going to be different for everybody, right? You can reduce anxiety by taking on more responsibility. And when you don't take responsibility, it's because you've outsourced it. And you think it's your spouse, and you think it's them, and you think it's the government, and you think it's your family, and you think it's they, them. And because you say they are responsible for your anxiety, okay, now you feel you can't do anything about it because you said it's them, and you can't change them, and you can't control them. Yet, one of the simple things you can do when we talk about boundaries, you can actually remove yourself. Like you actually have responsibility to remove yourself from unfavorable scenarios. Do you know certain people, okay, will sit in trauma because they think the people abusing them, they don't have control. Yet, as a human being, part of the control you have is to right, completely end relationships that is not favorable to you, that is giving you an anxiety and limitations. That is part of the solution. If you are hearing something is not feeling good, this person doesn't make you feel good, this person doesn't talk well about it, it's a warning sign. And part of solving it is to ask yourself, okay, how am I contributing to this reality, and how can I reduce and take responsibility for my own contribution and take my power back? So there are so many things tied to this thing, but I want to welcome Charles. Welcome to the stage, Mr. Charles. How are you today? Thank you for being here. If this is your first time actually on LinkedIn app, it usually gets an error. I've seen this many times, but try and unmute. But if it doesn't work, maybe you go out and you come back in and you have to come up to the stage. We've done this before with others. Sometimes, okay, let's see. Let's hope it works. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, are you hearing me now?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Toyin, you are amazing. Wow. You are saying something that is just, I mean, it's the first time I connect to listen to you. And what you're saying there is just amazing. I mean, I connected to you a few years back and I've been seeing what you're doing and it's amazing. I just want to tell you, you're talking about something that we all, I mean, our community, we just need to we need to move in that direction where we stop procrastinating, where we learn how to take action. I say this because, I mean, I live in the United States and I assume a few of us on this platform live in the United States. In the United States, when you look at stats between us, our communities, the Africans, non-whites and white people, the margin between us and those people is is 11 times, it's not 10 times. The average income of a black man, of a non-white in America is $70,000 a year. That of a white person is $171,000 a year. And all this is because these people, we have to study what these people are doing. I mean, we have history. There's history behind it, no doubt about it. And you're saying something, we don't always have to be looking for blames. We have to look at what those...
Oh no, we're losing you there. Oh no. Mr. Charles, are you with us still? I hope you've not... Oh, we just lost him there. Mr. Charles, please come up. I think there's a network. It just kicked you out. If you can still hear me, please raise your hand again. We lost you midstream there. It thoroughly just... I can see you, but I can... Okay, fantastic. He's back.
There is something that these people do that we are not doing. There is something that these people have taken advantage of that we are not taking advantage of. We need to learn those things. And it takes price. There's a price to it. We need to take action. Learn those things and take action. I mean, there are so many things we can do in this land. And when you think about them, I'm not talking here, I'm not selling anything to anybody. I'm just saying that there are things that we can do to help ourselves in this country. And we must take action and do them. I'm sure there are people on this platform that our tax is the #1 cost that we incur in this country. Yet millionaires and billionaires, they don't pay taxes. And that's what is making them grow, make money, and make money. We are mostly in the middle class, and we are the ones paying all the taxes in this country. What can we do to avoid that? Growth, building wealth, doing those things that avoid you pay taxes are the things that make people wealthier and wealthier. We have to think about those things and try to change. Action, taking action and investing in knowledge is critical. And I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate you bringing all these people to come together and talk about these things. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. Listen, this stuff is hot topic, but I try to cool it down. I try to cool it down. The reason I try to cool it down is because, listen, part of even self-sabotage is people don't want to hear the truth. The truth is bitter. The truth is like, it shocks you. Because I say, those who have not been mentored into success have no idea. They have no idea. Listen, if you don't have a mentor that is extremely wealthy, extremely successful, if you don't have friends, if your friend groups, right, they're all employees, they're all moving in the same direction. If your community, the community you are in, only does A, B, C, D, you are locked into that reality. And so when there's a shocking message like this that is delivering hot truth, you know, when truth comes down, it vibrates, it shakes you, because you know why it shakes you? Your soul will tell you, I've been trying to tell you this, you've not been listening to me. Good for you that somebody out there has to wake you up. Right? That's what usually happens. Whenever you hear truth that vibrates externally, the reason some people will resist it, some people will get angry, some people will run away. Why? Because it's a confirmation. Because your soul will quickly say, I've been warning you for years. The warning signal has been there. You are not supposed to be at this level. I have greater for you. What are you doing here? So when the truth lands, to some people, they can't tolerate the truth because they've immersed themselves in a sea of lies. Because what I've seen is that many people, actually, their full-time job is that they want to be proven right. They want somebody to tell them you got an A. They want us to clap for them. They want us to say, oh, good job, good job, good job. Why? That in of itself is also part of the crisis, because in the school system, okay, you are graded based on theory. You get an A in school, okay, because of what you memorized in your mind. Not because of practical, not because of the results, not because of what you did. That's why employers will still say, give me experience. Beyond your degree, I want to see experience. So many people are sitting with incredible head knowledge, smarts, intelligent brilliance, like lots of stuff good, right? You know. But let me tell you, you can get A all you want on theory. Life will grade you on practical. It's only teachers in school that will give you A because you just memorized and you wrote something on the ground because you feel smart. Life, real life will call you to practical. Okay? And so, let's create awareness. If you were to grade practical now, what would you grade yourself? Cabs just gave us a... No, really. You listen, many people are still sitting in theory. I have this degree. I have that degree. I went to this school. I went to Stanford. I went to this. So they are feeling good about the theory that they've memorized. But success, okay, is result-based. And you only get result based on the actions you take. And if you don't take action, you're not going to see results. So you can know all you want. In fact, I always joke. I say, you can read 1,000 books on how to lose weight. If you fail at the practice of it, or you don't go on a treadmill, listen, 1 pound, you won't lose. You won't lose 1 pound. And I've read books. Do you know how to lose weight? Yes, I know how to lose weight. How do you lose weight? Sleep better, drink more water, eat better food, exercise. You have the theory. Do you have the practical? Have you disciplined yourself to do it? And do you do it? Or you say you will do it tomorrow. And then you say tomorrow. And then you say tomorrow. And then it just gets worse. It doesn't get better. So many people have been rolling their responsibilities into tomorrow. 5 years later, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Nothing will change until you change. If you don't change, listen, nothing will change. You'll just be recreating the past. That's why people are stuck. Big time. Big time. Because the mindset that created yesterday will create today and tomorrow. If you don't disrupt your mindset today, like if today, this moment, you don't rethink, you don't shape up, you don't adjust, tomorrow will look like today. You wake up, you do the same thing, you meet the same friends, you eat the same food, you have the same conversation, you scroll on social media the same way. Tomorrow will come and go. Next tomorrow will come again. A year has gone by. The same behavior, the same action, the same thoughts. Nothing changes. But you are feeling smart, you are reading more books, you know, you are attending conferences, you are scrolling on social media, perpetually consuming content, perpetually taking zero action. So it's not actually the smartest people in the world that achieve the most success. Let me say that. Write that down. What I have seen, even if I speak like Solomon, if I speak like Solomon in the Bible, you know, he will say, oh, I've explored the world. And these are my conclusions. Yes, this is one of my conclusions. The smartest, most brilliant, intelligent people in the world are not the most successful because of what I just shared. The people who make money, who achieve success, who build wealth, they are 100% action takers. In fact, they don't even have to be as smart as you. They don't have to be smart. I mean, when I say smart, I mean like IQ. There's another smart EQ, emotional intelligence, right? Quotient. That emotion EQ is more powerful than IQ, people. People who have EQ, they lead and rule those who have IQ. And those who went to traditional school, they developed your IQ, they didn't develop your EQ. So you are not connected to your own emotions and you are not connected to the emotions of other people. So you can't work with everybody. So in fact, part of self-sabotage is you've concluded that everybody in the world is bad. You know, they are not good people in the world. That is you sabotage your own future. Because the people that will give you money, they are human. That money you want to make is people that will still give it to you. So when you carry negative energy towards humanity will not pay up. It won't pay you. It won't favor you. The same people you think negative of, they can't help you. They can't serve you good things. So let me just, that's why, listen, let me cool this thing down. Let me cool it down. Because don't get me too hot here. Don't get me too hot. Let me just, take a deep breath, guys. Let's just have fun. Cabs, did you want to say something or respond to that?
I'm just gonna say, calm down. Calm down.
Calm down. Calm down. Calm down.
No, I mean, Twin, it feels silly to sometimes respond to what you say, because I feel like I don't want to dilute, because it's so powerful. And I mean, the key thing is there's a deficit of mindset, and there's a deficit of taking action. And I think that kind of encapsulates really what you're really trying to break down to people a lot.
There's one more that I will put in there. There's a deficit of emotional well-being.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah.
That's why people make a lot of bad decisions.
Yes, because it's your thought. Okay, because one of the things about success is you have to master your own physiology. This is something they ought to have told us in school. Okay, this is what education, they ought to have educated ourselves, right? But if they didn't educate you, it's your responsibility to educate yourself. You see, that's another tip for you today. Okay, even if they didn't give you what will help you be successful, like wealth creation knowledge wasn't in your school, they didn't teach you how to start a business, they didn't teach you how to build wealth, they didn't teach you on. But guess what? No matter what they didn't teach you, no matter what your parents didn't, it doesn't matter. Now you're responsible here on out. Okay, so your future will not blame them, it will blame you. Your future, when you arrive in the future, your future will not remember all these people you're pointing fingers on to. Your future, when you arrive in your future, 80, 90, whatever that future, when you sit down, 100% responsibility will sit at your feet. You will even remember the name of your boss, of the employer, or even the government that was, the president that was, oh, you just say 30 years ago, when this person, today you are saying the president of a country is stopping you from achieving success. 30, 40 years from now, you may not even remember the name of that president. You'll be like, was he 2022 or 20? Who was the president in 2021? Your memory will tell you you don't even remember. But guess what? You will remember the actions you didn't take. Right? That future will call you out. I told you to start a business. I told you to do this. I told you to do that. We were crying. You were here on assignment. Now you don't have energy, resources to do anything. So sit down and just be watching the movie you created. That is why today is the day of action. It's not tomorrow. Tomorrow is not the day of action. It's always today, guys. Life is lived one day at a time. You can't jump and compound 5 days and say, oh, I can be juggling 5 days at the same time. No, God gives you one day at a time and he's watching you. These 24 hours, let's see the reality of this person. Let's see what this person will create. How this person... Do you know that time is a gift to you? You cannot stop it. You cannot accelerate it. You cannot increase it. You cannot control time. Okay, you can't control time. Time is God's investment into your life. What you do in time is how important you make time to be to your future. And if you do nothing, or you give it to ChatGPT, you give it to all these platforms, you give it to social media, and social media gives you nothing, time is what you invest in creating the future you want. God gave you time. You give time, attention, focus, right? And you drive meaning. So any minute that you have, be a good custodian of time. Don't waste it. Because that's what you will give accounts for, you know, how you use time. That's what you will give accounts for. If they roll the movie of your life for yesterday, the last 24 hours, and God watches and says, this girl, what did she do? This boy, what did she do? With the time I gave her, when she woke up, what did she do? Did she use it to serve? Did she use it to impact life? Did she use it to create? This is actually the reality of legacy and all these things. But let me come back home. Okay, self-sabotage, right thinking, feeling, behavior, anxiety. How am I thinking? How am I feeling? Right, what am I doing? What actions am I taking? How am I thinking about what I'm thinking? So also think about awareness. Okay, what do you see about yourself? What do you know about yourself? I don't mean what do you assume. Many of the things that we do is we make assumptions that are not fact-based. We think with assumption. We think, oh, that person doesn't like me. Oh, that you think in assumption. But here's the thing. What you now need to be controlling is asking yourself, is there a data that supports what I'm thinking right now? Because the brain can be lazy at times. It just wants to jump to conclusions. Right? The brain will just see something and say, oh, something bad, And listen, you can train yourself to conclude negativity or positivity. So certain people will always jump to negative conclusion and have more anxiety. When they experience something, they will say, oh, that person is bad. Because they only focused on, they have programmed their mind to be searching for the worst things about life. Another person will see that same thing and their conclusion, because they've programmed themselves to be positive, they'll say, oh, wow, that person tried. Yeah, I think that person really tried. That was a nice try. Another person will say, what was wrong with you? Why did you miss that goal? Another person will say, oh, he tried though. All of it, you did it to yourself. Right? Your conclusions is tied to your programming, how you've programmed yourself. So how have you programmed yourself? Do you always see positivity or do you always see negativity? You know why? What you see is what you experience. What you see, what you choose to focus on, immediately your emotion is invested in that negativity. What you see is what you will experience, is what you like your your heart, your emotional well-being is tied to what you are seeing and experiencing, what you are choosing to see and what you are choosing to experience out of life. And the moment you redirect that energy and you start thinking gratitude, joy, peace, your heart will follow. Your heart will follow what you focus on. So part of this self-sabotage is if you have programmed yourself, you've been watching all those movies that shows you the worst side of life. Oh, there's an alien. Oh, this. Those things just breed more fear. Right? Now you're frozen. You consume so much nonsense, energy, and guess what? You planted the seed of fear into your heart, and now your heart and your mind is searching for fear. So anything, if the president says this, you go, oh, fear. Your boss says things, oh, you're going to lose your job. So your conclusions will always be aligned to your states of internal being. So you actually created it. And today, you can disrupt it. Today, you can choose. You can choose to say, I want to focus on the goodness of life. I want to focus on the good of people. I want to focus on the goodness of my boss. Because, listen, life will put before you reality. You can choose to conclude negatively. You can choose to conclude positively. Choose wisely. Because whatever you choose is what you've programmed your heart to continue considering as important to the fulfillment of life. So you realize that many people are locked in. Let me tell you this. All people have to do is open their mouth and talk, and you will see toxic thoughts and ideas come out of them. You realize this person has consumed, like this person's wellspring of life is filled with toxic waste material. So when they just open their mouth, you say one thing, they say, oh, don't mind the president. That president is this. That this is this. Don't mind them. Oh, no, all Nigerians are this. Oh, this are this. All white people are this. All black people are this. All this are this and this. I like, what? But where's the evidence, guys? And you realize that this thing is not based on any reality in their own life. They've just been consuming toxic stuff on social media from other people, and they've chosen to pour into their own well. They've right? They've added toxin into the well of their. And Bible talks about guard your heart, because that's what produces your life. So they are producing the life that is so toxic And so anybody that comes around them, they will dish you some thought. Have you read this? Did you see this on social media? And they will be posting all those things. For those who are big on WhatsApp, you know those people that are constantly sending you all kinds of in fact, the darker the message is, some people have their full-time job is to share the darkest side of life. And so run away from those things, because they will pour it, whatever they've poured in themselves, they will pour it into you as well. Before you know it, you'll be speaking like them, talking like them, thinking like them, behaving like them, and your life will be like their life. Okay? It's part of self-sabotage. What you are consuming, what you're exposing your heart and your mind to, suddenly it will create your life. So if you believe abundance, if you believe there are good people in the world, you will attract good people. You believe everybody is bad, hey, listen, they will be showing up at your doorstep. Okay, that's my sinister laugh. You guys just brought, I have this laughter in my school. Like when I go into that laughter, my students know Toyi is being, that laughter is like calling people's attention. So let me not give it to you. Let me bring it back. Let me save it for my students alone. Cabs, I saw you. Did you want to say something? And then we'll go to Mr. Charles again, and then I'll continue.
You know, like I said to you, what is there to say except repeating what you said? There's nothing further. Because when you're talking, I'm thinking about my life. I'm thinking of positivity or negativity. And one of the things that I find important is on a daily basis, you need to have practices that inspire you to be the best version of yourself. This walk that I tried to do, I'm very late this morning, it's my gratitude walk. I walk outside and I give thanks. And I end my prayers of thanksgiving. Because that creates in me a version of myself that I like and that I want to share with other people and that I can pour into others. You know, I can come up on your stage and share something that I think might be helpful or that's aligned to what you're saying. But that comes because I'm putting myself in this space. I also take time how I start my day. People start their day differently. I start with a devotion because that anchors my day. I have affirmations that I do, and I set my intentions for the day, and I have my plan for the day. Now, sometimes it's a bit loose, things change all the time. But what is most important for me is aligning myself to my God-given purpose. So whatever actions I do is aligned to that. The conversations I partake, the materials that I read, the people I allow close in my life, all of that, because that translates, as you're saying, it goes to you, down even to a cellular level. That's what you generate. The mother you become is influenced by that. The wife I am is influenced by that. The friend I am is influenced by that. The way I relate to my partners or clients is influenced by that. How you treat people. And at the end of the day, when all is said and done, when I leave this earth, I want to leave it better than I found it, having done what God intended for me to do here. And so it's important that I put myself in an environment that supports me.
I love that, because actually all we have to offer the world is who we've become. The only thing you guys are experiencing right now is who I have become. Right? When all is said and done, I always say that you think you are building a business, but the business is building you. You think, oh, you are building... No, you are the product of life. The person that you become is the person you invested in and you built for yourself. So if you think they didn't build you well, start again. You can rebuild. 100%, you can rebuild. You can become a higher... And that's actually what we ought to be doing every day. Bible talks about renewing your mind. Trust me, the moment you start thinking differently, you start feeling differently, you start taking different action. And honestly, one of the things I say is that just think about, why do you brush your teeth? Every day they taught us to brush our teeth. They taught us to eat good food, right? Let me tell you, if you don't brush your teeth, it is stinking. Life, your mind, your heart is the same way. Negativity is trying to stick to you. Germs are trying to stick to your teeth. If you value your teeth, you will bring out your toothbrush and you will get white, toothpaste, good toothpaste, and you will scrub that thing morning and night. What did God tell Joshua? This word, don't let it depart. Use it to wash your life in the morning and in the night. Because as long as you're here on planet Earth, you have reasons. People will give you reasons not to be happy, to close you up. People will disappoint, all kinds. You know what life is. But it is your job to brush it, to clean the leftover of those experiences out of your life. And if you don't, listen, they've piled up. They've piled up and it's stinky. It's stinking. What are you going to do about it? And the saddest thing is that the person who has bad breath, nobody wants to come close to you. Right? You will just be like, stay away. There will be big warnings. Stay away from this person. They've not brushed their teeth. So many people have not brushed up on thoughts, emotions, behaviors. They are still behaving like maybe, can I say it? Maybe 15-year-old version of you. Okay, that one is hot. I just shot that one. The reason is because, honestly, let me give you an example. Let me give a practical example. Let's say you have kids now. Listen to the advice you are giving them and ask, have you given yourself that advice? If they tell you, this person doesn't like me, this person doesn't like me, what do you tell that kid? Are you saying the same thing of yourself? You realize that sometimes it's in conflict. The advice we offer, sometimes we don't live up to it. But that's just something to think about. So I'm going to go down the list, but before I go to the next on the topic, Mr. Charles, any further reaction before I move on?
Thank you for giving me the floor again. I've been listening to you very keenly. I've been listening to the other speaker very, very keenly. And you guys are so inspiring. You're saying just some of the things that people, you said many things. You talked about coaching, taking action. You talked about time. You talked about awareness, data, mindset. You talk about what you're thinking. All those things are, those are critical things that make us what we are. I say this because when you think about it, I am an African. I come from Africa, and I'm a first generation American. So my mindset is all about learning in this place. My mindset is all about when I hear people who are saying something that I can learn from, I talk to it. I stay on it. I am in the off. I was doing something. I just stopped and I wanted to listen to this program. And I thought, wow, what is going on here is incredible. But the reality is that when you are saying things like this, they turn out you will see 5 people on the platform to listen. But if you were talking some Congo, some quarter things that are related to all the crappy things in the society, would have 150,000 people listening here, because that's what we do, and that's the reality of how our minds are, how we are shaped. People don't think about those things that add value to people. People never see them. And that's why people are not ready to pay the price to get into where they want to go. You are not ready to pay the price. There's a price to pay to becoming what you want to be. That's why coaching becomes so important. Coaching is important because you have a mentor. You have somebody who is standing there and you want to be like that person. So you're moving step by step to becoming like that person. And this thing is based on data. You don't just go coaching because it's based on data. We keep information so that before anybody who has got to somewhere, it's because they had some data. They were able to move on those things step by step by step. And when you don't have data, you can't really do nothing. You can't really go anywhere. These are based on statistics from history that bring us to these places. So when I hear these things, I'm hearing you talking about coaching. Coaching is incredibly important if you want to go to the next level. You need someone that you can look up to, and then you follow the steps, because people have done it before. There's nothing we're creating in this land anymore. We're not creating many things. There are a few super smart people who are creating 1, 2, or 3 things. But most of the things we are looking for just to change our lives from one level to the other, they're already there. So all you need to do is to listen to someone who has done it, follow the steps that they have done it, and then you will get there. You talked about time. Most of us start realizing that, oh, we needed to do something when it's getting almost late. I know that. And then I will not sit here and tell people that it's late to do anything. If you are in this world and you're breathing, you can do anything. You just have to take action and start doing it. You have to start it. Once you get started, then you will get every day. And people think that is a quick fix. There's nothing. If they tell you that something is too good to be true, it's actually too good to be true. It doesn't exist. There is a method, there is a process to getting there. The fastest people, or however you want to do it, they go through a process. And that process, first of all, being aware of what's happening around you, getting yourselves around the right people, because there's something about shredding. When you want to go from one step to the other, there are friends around you that you got to shred away. You got to get away from that circle, get into another circle where you want to be. Start forcing yourself into that circle. When you get into that circle, you start thinking like those people, because your thought, what you think, the way you think is going to create action. That is what is going to create action. And once it creates action, it becomes your character. You start building that habit of doing those things. And you start building the habits of the people you want to be like. Those are the key things about how we shape ourselves. Otherwise, you come to this world, you just come here, and then you go out of this world without creating anything that makes change to humanity. We are all here to make change. We come to this world so that when we're living something better than what we found. And you can only do that if you are following the right things, you're taking the right actions, you're following the right people, you're thinking, you're in the right mindset, in the right group, and doing those things. There is a price to pay. Generally, we are quick to pay for those things that don't. There is a price to pay to become anything you want to become. In our society, we have not been mentored to think about. Exactly. Yes, we've not been taught to think about paying for those things that we want to. I mean, I tell people in my phone, if people don't pay for something, they don't see the value of that thing. You give them things for free. They're going to be sleeping there just thinking that thing is available like this. But when you put a price to it, when somebody pays for something, then they start seeing the value. Yeah. You have to pay for something. If you want it so badly, when people want to drink, they go and buy those drinks and drink. But when it comes to thinking and learning, they think it's free. It's not free. There's a price to it. And when you pay a price, you're going to spend your time. I mean, people say that your money goes where your mouth is. And that tells you everything. Yeah. So I'm just...
Oh, thank you. I feel your energy. Thank you for bringing it here. We are enjoying it. You know, you talked about, so for me, the way I see value, the value of information, the value of knowledge, the value of education, the value of investment, is that it's only the future that you value, that you will contribute towards.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
You invested to become the perfect employee. If you want to be an employer and a business owner, it's the same principle. For you to get your first degree, second degree, if you have third degree, nobody gave it to you on a platter. You gave it time, you gave it focus, you gave it energy, you prioritized that future, and so that future, you created it. You created that future, that reality, because of your investment of time, energy, focus, attention. You prioritize. The future you prioritize is the one you will see. The future you don't prioritize, listen, when you enter, you get what you get. You don't even know what that future will look like. You know why? Anything can happen. Anything you haven't controlled or prepared for, your company can change, the government can change, the ground can shake under you by people who control where you've built your life upon. Listen, if the employer wakes up and say they don't need this job again, bam, you're out. Clubhouse has done something in the last few days. People were out because you don't control. The only thing you control is your own future, is your own life, is your own asset, the asset you build. It starts with you. Then once you build you can build more things. That's what you work. In fact, the future wants you to drag in some powerful things. Whatever you create today is what you drag into tomorrow. If you create nothing today, tomorrow you start again. Today is the foundation for tomorrow. And if you don't lay the bricks today, tomorrow will ask you, I was expecting you to bring an LLC. You didn't bring it. Okay. Now you have to catch up. Many people have to catch up now. You have to play catch up. Part of self-sabotage is not taking responsibility to invest time, energy, attention to designing the life you want to see tomorrow. So when you procrastinate, you say, oh, I'll do today's work tomorrow. If you were supposed to lay 2 bricks today, let's do the math. We all went to school. They taught us X plus Y. Okay. Let's say X is today. Tomorrow is Y. And next tomorrow is Z. Today, you were supposed to lay 2 bricks. X is 2. Tomorrow, you are supposed to lay 3 bricks. When you enter the 3rd day, you are supposed to come into 5 bricks. Correct? Let's say you enter today, you laid 0 bricks. You say you will lay today's bricks tomorrow. Tomorrow comes in, you say no, you will not lay any brick. So X is 0, Y is 0, Z will be 0. You enter into the 3rd day with 0. Because you didn't focus to lay the bricks for tomorrow. So people are entering the future less than they ought to, with less information, with less skills, with less relationship, with less power, with less influence, with less asset, with less capacity. And so you enter tomorrow weaker than you ought to have entered. We are all supposed to be growing. You're supposed to be growing and expanding. When you exercise every single day, you will expand. And if you fail to show up to exercise in the gym of life, you've not grown capacity to pull, because your future is greater than your present. If you don't believe that the future, tomorrow is supposed to be greater than today, then that's why people don't do anything. Vision, the power of vision. You have to activate the power of vision. If God shows you and gives you a glimpse of your future and you see, whoa, I see myself traveling on private jets. I see myself sitting with presidents. I see myself hosting ambassadors. I see myself doing this and that. And you decide to sit and think it will come and meet you. No. The moment you see yourself doing big things, you need to start making big investment. You need to start throwing big things at that future so that that future will show up. You need to start carrying everything you have and throwing it at that future so that that future will be yours. It's a glimpse. The children of Israel were promised the promised land. When it was time to face Goliath, they say, we are not fighting. We thought, God, you promised us easy life. So instead of fighting, they prefer to go back and sit. Many people are doing that today. God has showed you what it is that is yours, the incredible things you ought to be confronting. But the question is, are you fighting every day to make sure it happens for you? It's a question. Self-sabotage is not fighting for what is yours. Self-sabotage is not making room for your ideas. It's not asserting yourself. It's not being, when people are not intentional, when people are not directed, when people are not focused, when people don't have vision, there's nothing somebody like myself can say. Because if I say invest, it's only the future that you see that you're going to invest in. So if you don't see a better future than what you will not invest in that future. You won't. You know, I always say that physical products are easier to sell. That's why there's a lot of consumption and people invest in material things. Because if you are governed by the 5 senses, touch, taste, sight, smell, right? What else? Hear, like you can hear the music, you know, it moves you. You are moved by your 5 senses. Your money will go there. But when I start talking about knowledge, okay, mindset work, okay, personal development, the things that will unlock the wealth within you, many people cannot see it. If you don't see the millionaire in you, you will not create it. So vision is another reason people self-sabotage. Watch out for that. Let me share another one. The power of clarity. Activating the power of clarity. This is actually part of the program, the game plan, 12 strategies for winning in life and business. Clarity is one of the most powerful things that will help you like catapult yourself to higher levels. The power of clarity is the first, because in the school, the mindset program, the game plan is you have to complete it before you start your business accelerator. Like it's the first journey there. And one of the things about clarity is that you have to see, it's something you apply in all areas, but let me give you an example. How clearly can you see where you want to go? How clearly do you see where you are? How clearly do you see the gap between those two things? Because many people think they have arrived into the future. So they've parked their car. When I say they've parked their car, there's no longer energy invested in motion, in taking action, in being progressive. So people actually stand still. This is part of self-sabotage, right? People are not moving forward because they think they've arrived at their destination. Because progress is tied to going on a journey that is not where you are today. Okay? This is why we take action. If you want to go to California and you are in Chicago, okay? That's clarity. You know the location, the address where you are. You know, you are clear that definitely Chicago is not California. Some people mistake where they are for where they are going. Okay? Because actually, energy, when people activate the power of clarity, something will happen within you. Energy will be released because it's like you starting a car and saying we are going somewhere. So actually, many people have parked their car. They are not going anywhere. So that's why a lot of the things in life, they consider it entertainment. Right? So they come into what I just shared makes people wake up every day and just move through life with low energy because a parked car is not moving. Right? So you can be in the same spot going round and round and round and round, but not progressing because the energy that propels you to higher levels must be activated based on the clarity of destination in relation to your current circumstance. When where you are is not where you're going, you now have to know clearly you have to start moving. And you have to move with speed if you want to get there faster. But if you think you have arrived, there's nothing somebody like myself can tell anybody. If you think you are the best thing since sliced bread, I have a BSc, I have a degree, I have a great job, I have this, I have this, I have that. Fantastic! You have arrived. That means you're going no more. Like, once you tell your mind that you are happy and you are content, listen, there's a good side of contentment, but there is also an underbelly. There's an underbelly where people that do not have higher visions for their life, listen, you're not going to invest in anything more. You invest, in fact, you invested to get to where you are today. If you want more, if you desire more than you have today, what does it mean? It means you will now invest more. So whatever level of success you arrived at now, the only reason you are enjoying what you are enjoying, the job, the this, the that, the relationship, the only reason it belongs to you is because you created it. And if you want to create more success for yourself, trust me, you have to go on a new journey. So that level of clarity, many people have not activated it. There's another level of clarity. In the game plan, I talk about nature, nurture, culture. Clarity of the identity you've taken on in relation to, the person you ought to become. if that stuff, we can treat it for a year. What I just talked about, identity. Many people have taken on an identity, okay, that will not help them go from here to here. They are locked in. Because the moment you say, I am this, I am this, I am this, if you don't disrupt that identity, if you don't take on an identity of greater success, let's say you're an employee right now and you see yourself as an employee. If you don't see yourself as an employer, if you don't see yourself as an entrepreneur, if you don't decide to stretch yourself, then you remain in that current state of being until you disrupt it. And let me also share something. It's real big success secret. The journey you go on is the one that transforms you. The one you sit on, it doesn't change you. What do I mean by that? You can have an idea, but the only way you transform to become a higher version of you is by doing new things you've never done before. The moment you attempt any new thing and you do it over and over and over again, your identity changes. It's a secret. The moment you do any new things, not old things, because the old identity you have allows you, so for example, if you became an accountant and you practice the responsibility of an accountant over and over and over, you become an accountant. If you do the work of a doctor over and over and over, you become a doctor. If you practice and discipline yourself in business, you become a business owner. But guess what people are doing? They are hoping that they will become a business owner without doing the practice of business ownership. It doesn't happen. You don't become a doctor without the practice, the practice of it. What you work on, any new thing you work on will shift your identity. You become a different person. Anytime you add on new skills, your identity changes. You build confidence in a new area. So I see many people sitting on the sideline, consuming content, and they are not investing themselves into practice. Listen, you can read 10,000 books on business. If you don't show up to brand, to market, to do this, listen, it still doesn't exist. It exists in your imagination. I believe I can. Listen, the caterpillar believes it can fly until it transforms. It's not a butterfly. So many people in their dreams, you see yourself doing all those things. I can fly, I can fly. I know I can fly. Yes. Follow the process. Subject yourself to the process that will create the reality of your dreams. And when you don't subject yourself to that process, if you don't discipline, if you don't learn new skills, it's elusive. It's still at a distance. So activating clarity in this area, many people do not do that. Self-sabotage is dreaming instead of becoming. Becoming takes you using your energy to create work, to attempt to create results that will stretch you and build you. And you become totally different. You speak differently. Listen, your entire life force will take on a new identity the moment you learn new skills, right? You will change. That's why when people tell you, oh, why have you changed? Yes, that person has done something they've never done before. Oh, why you don't act, you are acting different. That's it. That person, right, has learned something they didn't know before. When you change, everything changes. Even people around you, they will recognize like, this person is not who we used to know. It's because that person has gone on a journey, perfecting a new skill, thinking differently, feeling differently, acting differently, and suddenly they are not the old version of themselves anymore. So self-sabotage is part of when you don't do anything, you don't become more than you already are. The only way you become more is to do more. Okay? The only way to become more is to do more. Does anybody want to react to that? Yvonne, welcome to the Space Angel. I'm seeing the chat. Oh boy, anxiety kept me from doing a lot of things. yes, it's actually anxiety plus procrastination. They live together. In a way, when there's information presented to you that you need to act upon now, if you don't act upon it now, it creates a restlessness within you. And when procrastination comes in and tells you, don't worry, do it tomorrow, it aggravates, it makes it worse. Let's say you have an assignment. Okay? You have an assignment that is due 2 weeks from now. And your spirit, your energy is ready. It's saying, let's do the work now. You say you are not going to do it until tomorrow. You will create a condition within yourself that is not settled. I'm telling you, until you finish it, listen, it's not finished. You, in your heart, in your being, it's like its energy then gets stored. Because now you have to conserve energy that needs to be used and assigned to that assignment. So actually, if you can finish that assignment today, the energy that is stored will be released. Tomorrow you'll be energized. You will not think about what you solved today tomorrow. But if you don't solve it today, tomorrow you will wake up with this. When you wake up, the first thought that will come to your head is what you've not done in your life. It's a reminder. It's a reminder. It's just a reminder. You know, we always say to do. The mind has its own mechanism that it doesn't want you to forget what is important to your future. So it will tell you, listen, we have time today. Let's prioritize this thing tomorrow. You know, procrastination will say, I still have 2 weeks now. I still have 2 weeks. But all of a sudden, you realize that if you could measure the energy that your being is consuming towards this 2 weeks assignment, you realize that there's a lot of internal storage, pent up tension that you will carry for the next 2 weeks until you do it. Once you now finish it, you see, it's like all of those tension will be gone. It will be released from you. Yeah. So anxiety is a tension of an action you've not taken, of a responsibility you've not embraced today. So if you actually want to deal and confront anxiety, just again, take your pen and paper and write out, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? What am I doing in relation to this subject? Whatever that subject is. What am I thinking about it? Why am I not doing it now? Why am I not prioritizing it today? If you can create that awareness and tell yourself the truth, and then if you can find a way and say, is there a way for me to prioritize it today? Because lack of prioritization, right? Time management prioritization is this belief that there's something else more important today than tomorrow. And you know what happens? Excuse me, your spirit calls you out and say you are lying. You want to be on TikTok. Is TikTok more important than this thing that you need to work on now? You want to watch a movie. You can watch a movie after you finish this thing. But so your spirit, like your heart, will come and fight you. It will challenge you so that you don't wreck your life. You know, when people are going off a cliff, there's something built into the human mind that is supposed to check you. Don't do that. Don't say that. Don't do this. Self-governance. The moment you start eroding the power of self-governance, you continue to self-sabotage. Because the internal process God has put in us to self-regulate, to check ourselves, to make sure that we are doing what we need to do at the right time, that will create what we, right? The moment you skip overriding your own warning sign, anxiety will kick in. So there's a warning sign that is telling you, don't go there, don't go there, don't go there, do this, do that, do this. And you are hearing it. But most of the time, people are not prioritizing it. They are quieting that voice in exchange for physical pleasure. Right? In exchange for pleasure. So you realize that most people today, if you interrogate their 24 hours and you ask them to audit it and say, how many hours of your day is going towards pleasure versus the work that is waiting for you, for your future, you realize that what's also happening, let me create this awareness. Many people are entertaining themselves with content on social media, thinking that they've told themselves a lie that when I sit on social media, it is good for me. So it is contributing towards my future. It's a lie. It's a lie. Bust that bubble, because actually you're feeding your addiction. Is that too much? Is that too much? Social media is an addiction of our world today. It's an addiction because you know why? Most of it's only sessions like this does not exist on social media. That's why I brought it on. The reason I brought it on is to create a depth of awareness that, listen, until you sit still like this and hold a pen and a paper and correct things in your life, listen, you're not changing. You're not getting what you want to get. However, social media, as we know it, typical social media, all the 15 seconds, will never deliver what I just delivered now. It will give you a good feeling, but it will not give you instruction and direction for your life. But it will make you feel like it's helping you. So guess what? Anxiety is growing because the work we ought to be doing is being replaced by the social media addiction of this era. Self-sabotage is being addicted to social media. Can we call it that? Perpetually. No, listen. Interrogate, investigate your own reality. How many hours did you spend on social media yesterday? 2 hours, 3 hours? Those 3 hours, what else was your mind and your heart telling you you could have invested 2 hours into that would have made today a little bit better? That's what I'm saying. Interrogate it. How am I thinking about time that I'm putting into social media? How am I feeling about the time I'm putting into social media? What are my behaviors? Because I'll tell you categorically, many people have invested hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours on these platforms, right? But if you ask them today, have you solved the problem you entered this year with? You realize that the answer is no. Particularly in the world of business, where I teach entrepreneurs. January 1, oh, I need to build my business. I need to learn marketing. I need to learn sales. A laundry list of things they need to do. We are now in month 9. 9 months after. That list has not been solved because the time to solve those things, the money to invest in solving those things, they have spent it in pleasure. Self-sabotage. When you invest in pleasure, things that make us feel good, look good, in exchange for creating the future you want to see. Guess what? Pleasure never ends. Pleasure doesn't give you the future. It just makes you feel good in the moment. And nothing wrong with that. Listen, in the old world, right, we go out 8 to 5, 8 to 4, 8 to 5. We work all day and then at night we watch TV with our family, we eat food and we go to bed. That was the routine, right, of the world before social media. Today, listen, nobody's policing you. You wake up, you grab the phone. Midday, you grab the phone. Right? Afternoon, you grab the phone. Night, you grab the phone. When you add up all the hours, you realize that maybe at least 4 hours in a day is spent in a dimension and invested in a dimension that is stealing time from what you say you need. I'm just saying I'm just creating awareness. Just think about it. Just think. That's why I say use social media, don't let it use you. I will thoroughly use it. This is a productive use of my time. This I will use. Because the alternative will be I should use my time to be cutting 15 seconds clip, and dosing people clip, and giving them things that are not progressive I would rather give an hour, 2 hours, an hour and a half. Even if 2 people show up, even if one life is impacted by this moment, I feel more fulfilled. Because easily, I could take that 1 hour that I'm investing here, I could move it, and me too, I can go and be scrolling on TikTok, you know. And if I'm giving this time that God is saying, invest it in other people, teach other people, guide other people. Imagine if I take that hour and I rob, what it means is I will rob everybody of this opportunity. I will use that hour to pleasure myself. You know, I can do that too. So for every hour you're using to pleasure yourself, check in with God. Was this an hour I was supposed to use to train somebody else, to teach somebody else, to encourage somebody else, to move somebody else's life better, or to move my own life better? Think about it. If this 1-2 hours, it's mine. Your time is the gift God gave you. Nobody will question me if I didn't show up. If I use my time and I just go and sit on Instagram and I keep scrolling. Oh, fine. Before you know it, 1 hour, 2 hours, you didn't move forward and you didn't move other people forward. So when you see me move, you realize that the content I create will make you think, whether it's my newsletter, whether it's my TV show, whether it's my academy, whether it's moments like this. I don't show up to waste my time, and I will not waste anybody's time that show up. And if I find that people are telling me to use my time in things I consider a waste, I will not do it. I won't. I refuse. I refuse to spend my time in unwisely ways. I'm not interested. If my mission is to guide, to coach, to educate, to impact lives, then I'll give it my time, energy, and resource. I will do that. Miss Lucy knows she's in my academy. Miss Lucy, if you're available to come up stage, let me just check in with you. Feel free, raise your hand. But if not, that's okay as well. Just enjoy yourself here. Okay? So self-sabotage, how are you? Where are you putting your time? And what are you getting back? Right? So those who put time, energy, resources into my school, they transform. But if you put your time, energy, and resources in other spaces, just check in. What is this space? Is this space transforming me? Is it making me better? Or is it just taking my time and giving me dopamine? Feel good emotion. I feel good, but when you wake up at night, the brain is like, you've not given me instruction and direction, because that's what we actually need to make progress. Instruction and direction. So that's what I share and teach at the academy. TonyUmesiri.academy. That school is for entrepreneurs who want to accelerate. Like if you work with me, you hear me use language like my TV show says quantum leap. You hear me say accelerate your journey. You hear me say I'm the catalyst, right? Because I'm like, run after what you want. Chase it. Be like the lion. Listen, the lion doesn't stroll if it wants breakfast. Right? The lion doesn't, there's a certain energy. People are vibrating on social media that I'm like, run. Like, run. You hear me say, learn fast. Don't learn slow. Learn quickly so that you can speed up and arrive sooner. But I understand. You know, entertainment is saying chill, don't do nothing, just sit down, relax. But my voice is different. My message is different. I say run, hurry up, let's go, quantum leap, accelerate, speed up. That's what you'll be hearing me say. Like, you see, I'm clapping. My rhythm is different. My rhythm is a rhythm of speed, gain momentum, accelerate. My language in my school, that's why my students are achieving results faster. A week after, 2 weeks after, 3 weeks after transformation. Next level results. Right? Because your next level result, okay, is going to be based on your speed of transformation. If you take 1 year, if you take 5 years, that's what it takes. But you can learn faster. As an example, sitting with me, okay, delivered something radical that maybe a year scrolling 15 seconds on TikTok will not give you. Do you realize that? That's what I mean by learn fast. Right? There's a certain type of knowledge that will deliver for you transformation. And there's certain type of information that will not deliver such with you. That's why I say useless versus useful information. Which one are you consuming? Self-sabotage. Everything you consume, ask yourself, useful or useless? Listen, the human mind is a digestive system. It eats food of knowledge. People tell you to eat good food for your physical body. Part of what causes anxiety and all these things is that people are consuming, I should say it, useless information. So people are more confused today than ever before because clarity is actually expensive. Clarity is what you give yourself when you can think better about where you are, where you are going, and what you need to do to get there faster. Clarity is expensive. It takes time, focus, and deep thinking that you cannot do on social media. But confusion, listen, the more you spend on social media, to people who wake up tomorrow, what do I need to do? They don't know. Where am I going? They don't know. Where am I? They don't know because there's no clarity. Clarity is something you seek out, right? To find the information you need that will help you get everything you need. Confusion is you consuming content that is leading you astray. It's not giving you direction. It's not giving you instruction, but it's making you feel good in the moment. But when you sleep and wake up, you still don't know the next step to take. Watch out for those things. It's self-sabotage, right? Because you 100% are in control how you educate yourself, how you educate your mind. I'm not in control of where you invest your mind, like who you give your mind to, where you take your mind, where you take yourself. I'm not, but you are. Part of self-sabotage is when you start showing up, right, in places that make you more confused. And when you refuse to show up in places that will give you clarity. Self-sabotage, it's a decision you are making every day to show up in where you should not show up and not to show up in where you should show up. Because nobody is, right? The power of education is the gift of knowledge you give your mind so that it can direct you to where it's going. It's the GPS. Your mind is the GPS of your life, right? Your heart is the factory that produces results and your reality. But guess what? You are 100% responsible for the quality. It's like food. Who is responsible for what you ate for breakfast? Who is responsible for what you ate for dinner? It's you. It's the same thing. The mind is a digestive system. It's trying to synthesize and make sense of everything you are consuming on social media. So if you feed it toxicity, let's say you will soon see confusion. Self-sabotage is not eating well. If somebody is not looking for nutritious food, oh, let me even give you this one. Every month, how much do you spend on groceries? If you don't spend equal or greater on consuming something to your mind, because this is what happens when I say enroll in my academy. Some people will say it's expensive because they don't understand that organic, nutritious food that will give you success is not the same price as junk. People will say, give me junk. People are eating junk information instead of investing in transformation. So if transformational knowledge is too expensive, the cost, you pay a price either way. Right? If you say you don't want to eat organic food, you don't want to eat good food, nutritious food, vegetable, broccoli, chicken, right, beans, rice, you don't want to eat it. You say it's too expensive and you're cutting corners. You're feeding your children junk food. Don't worry. Okay, the day they say my tummy, the day you check your blood sugar, right, you will see the consequences. The same thing is true. When you continue feeding junk to your mind and you're not saying to yourself, I need to invest in quality information. I need to buy quality information that is not free. Self-sabotage is when you are feeding yourself junk instead of feeding yourself and looking for nutritious content. Because those who build wealth, they invest in wealth creation knowledge. And that wealth creation knowledge, listen, if you go into the dumpster and you are looking for free, something somebody else has dumped out there, and you are digging your head, what will you find in the dumpster? Waste. But if you want to eat at the restaurant, listen, you pay. If you want people to serve you best delicious food, you pay for it. And if you say you don't want to pay, you want leftover, guess what people are doing on social media? Dumpster diving. Be careful. Be careful. Self-sabotage is when you dumpster dive and you are eating crumbs and you're feeling good, instead of going straight into the restaurant and asking for you to be served good, nutritious meal. Because that's the only way you would enjoy, okay, what you just bought. So I'm using that analogy for people to really understand that there are certain knowledge that will give you clarity, that will make you feel good, that will make you feel empowered, that will release you from anxiety. You are enjoying part of it right now. And there are certain other knowledge that will thoroughly junk your life. And those are the things we have to detox, right? We have to reduce and minimize to almost zero, if possible zero, anything that is confusing, anything that is misdirect, every conversation that is not enlightening, that is not edifying, that is not uplifting. Why? Don't give it to yourself. You wouldn't give it to your children. Don't expose yourself to it. So I think I've beaten that. There are still several things here. Listen, there's still several, but maybe I'll start wrapping up now. You know, again, is this responsibility of how am I thinking? What am I doing? How am I feeling? What actions am I taking? And are they aligned? Is there alignment between who I am and who I need to become? And when you find that there's no alignment, you now have responsibility. You remember I talked about clarity. Once you have clarity, okay, of what you are doing, what you are responsible for, hopefully, you now also take on responsibility. But those who do not want responsibility, they will turn the other way. They will pretend like they didn't hear everything we just shared. And then nothing changes. Because this is the number one problem I've seen in the world, everywhere I go. What people are doing to themselves, how people are thinking, how people are feeling. That is actually the only reason they are not moving forward step by step. And I realized the other side of this, and allow me to say it, most people mask. In fact, when I come close, because I'm very in tune, when I come in and I engage somebody, most people are like defensive. Like there's this wall, stay clear, don't touch me. Like, I'm like, whoa. And that's what I call closed mind versus open mind. Right? Is that certain people are living in an echo chamber that they want to keep believing what they believe. They don't want anybody to burst their bubble, to shift them. They are fine. That's closed-mindedness. Open-mindedness is actually what creates renewal. If you are open, God can teach you. Holy Spirit can teach you if you're a Christian, right? This is the breathing that God can give you life. This is the molding. This is the shaping. This is the evolution. This is the growth. What gives birth to growth is your openness, your hunger, right? That's why Jesus would say, your faith made you, your hunger pulled me in. So the depth of your hunger for transformation will influence the speed at which you can arrive. So people going to California from Chicago, some people want to arrive sooner. They will invest in an airplane. They will buy airplane tickets. Some people will say they will take the bus. Some people will take the car. Some people will say, let's ride a bicycle or a bike. What happened there? The speed, okay, how soon you want to arrive will influence your transportation, the transportation you invest in. I say this, it's the same with training. When I talk about business training and entrepreneurship, some people will be awakened and say, I'm building a business. But what I see is that people are DIY and riding a bicycle there. I will say, who? This journey might take you 5 years. Eventually you arrive, but guess what? You wear yourself out. Physical body, you wear it out because you are riding, right? Because you don't want to pay. I always say people want to use time to save money instead of money to save time. That's another topic entirely, right? Is that those who say plane ticket is too expensive, plane ticket is too expensive, listen, I have my bicycle, I can do this by myself, I have my car. That's okay. The destination might be the same, but trust me, you don't arrive at the same time. And even when you arrive, if you don't lose way, or you say you don't want to invest in a roadmap, danger. Somebody else that has gone ahead of you, that know the way, that wants to show you the way, and is saying, here's the roadmap to how you get to California. And you say, no, I can do this by myself. Good luck. Good luck. You embark on a journey. You remember the gold rush. Not everybody that started the journey got there, because it's risky. So in today's era, we are actually living at a time where there are options that will help you achieve results faster. But certain people will say the options to arrive sooner is too expensive, but they will pay a different cost that is hidden cost. You know, economics will say, hidden cost. The money you're trying to save, okay, from taking the plane, what you will use, what you will pay will be your time, your energy, and in a way, your life force. Again, this is another form of self-sabotage, because when we don't become a student of life, if God is saying you're going from Egypt to Promised Land, and I have appointed a leader that can guide you, because guess what? I've already taken your leader to that same place. I want him to now come and take you. Because this is, if you're a Christian, realize that God doesn't want you to get lost on the journey he has called for you. And so that's why certain people like myself, God will take us on an interesting journey so that we can see the roadmap. You know, like Google invested in driving everywhere in the world so that they can map it and then give it to you. Do you realize that? That this map that we are enjoying in the world today, somebody had to drive and plow every road. And every road they didn't go, you can't see it on the map. Somebody used their life force to anticipate where everybody else wants to go. And they took time out to document it. And then say, your own journey can be easier than ours. Here is a roadmap. And then some people will say, no, your map is too expensive. I want to embark on my own journey. Do you see self-sabotage? Will they arrive? So they start spinning around. When people get lost, okay, when they are confused, it's because they've not identified, okay, those who are supposed to lead them to destination. I'm going to probably be wrapping up there, because maybe I'll host another one. I don't know. But this one is so important. I was preaching in church this past Sunday, and one of the things I said is, listen, somebody didn't teach Vashti. You know Vashti? Like, okay, let me just pack. Like, listen, I want to, if you want to access the sermon I preached in church on Sunday, private message me. It's on YouTube on the church website. The title is The Birth of a New Identity. The Birth of a New Identity. Let me not go all preachy, because let me keep this one let me keep it professional, business, high level. But if you want to dive into spirituality, faith-based information on transformation and identity and the journey God wants to take you on to birth in you a new identity, a new person, reach out. I'll be happy. And actually, I posted it also in the faith-based space in my school. So my school has over 300 resources, end-to-end business development, because I went on my own journey, and God asked me, take time, document, spent over a year documenting the A to Z of entrepreneurship, business development, creating countless workbooks, this, so that everybody that comes after me, you don't have to go 5 years, right? So that you can invest and literally follow step-by-step instructions and direction and find your way and arrive. But self-sabotage, people will say, that is too expensive. But I tell you, I challenge you today. I challenge you today. Count the cost and the consequences of attempting to go where others have gone before you without asking for direction. Those who fail to humble themselves, to become a student, to invest in education, they are paying a price anyway. I mean, everything is expensive. Success is expensive. Trust me, once you start this journey, the life God has for you is not cheap. It's not. It's not. So either way, you will still pay something. It's either you pay, you count your cost. That's why you count, Bible talks about count the cost. If you want to build a house, just assess. How long will it take? Like project management, just assess. If I go this way with a plane, what's the cost? How fast will I arrive? Because it's always a trade. Time, money is a trade. If you don't want to pay money, you will use time. And successful people, they value their time more than their money. That's why they invest money. So anytime you want to sell something to successful people, just tell them, oh, this will buy you time. They will bring their money. You mean it will give me more time? Here's your money. But when other people here pay money, they will say no. Oh, I will use time to find the same thing. My money could find me quicker. So you see people struggling 6 months. They've still not found it. Imagine saying to yourself, you have to become a doctor before a doctor can help you. You're supposed to go and see a dentist, but you say, no, that dentist is too expensive. Let me go and read all the books dentists read so that I can now treat my own teeth. Self-sabotage. Listen, today is not even about me. I don't even tell people, listen, the investment I made in myself to be teaching this thing, I don't even say anything. But when I see somebody that refuses to invest in their future, honestly, to me, it's like I dust it off. I don't even like that thing is it does something. I don't like it. I run away from such people. Because you're abusing the principle of sowing and reaping. If you sow zero, you get what you reap. Abi, you reap what you sow. And part of self-sabotage is that when people abuse the principles of life, it doesn't work for them. People who abuse the principle of generosity. If you're not generous, you can't make money. I'm telling you. Okay. What else? There are several things here. There's procrastination. I've talked about the responsibility, limiting beliefs, lack of confidence, pride, lack of knowledge, lack of self-expression, self-denial, fear of failure. So I thought I would share 10. I've not gone through all those things, but I know I've probably invested maybe 2 hours here. So I'm going to call it done. And then I invite you to join us at toyinumesiri.academy. It's the one of its kind destination for entrepreneurs. But here's the thing. It's not just entrepreneurship. It's actually, I named it before, Business and Success Academy. Okay. So I played around with different names. It's about leadership. It's about business. It's about success. So what you will find there is dedicated definitely to business development, business education, wealth creation education. But I realized for you to actually be a wealth builder, you are the wealth. You have to unlock the wealth within you. Okay? First, you have to do that work first. You have to break away from limiting beliefs, from all these things. You have to break from that and unlock the gifts, the ideas, the dreams, the hopes. You have to feed energy and you have to come alive. A different version of you must be unlocked. So that's why I support in my school different programs to help you get started so that you can look like a success at the Entrepreneurs Academy. Listen, it gets you there. It gets you there for sure. So thank you, everyone. Okay. Thank you for joining me today. Angel, thank you for being here. Definitely a whole lot more that I didn't share, but I feel like I'm done for now. I feel like I've shared enough. it's enough for you to digest for a while. So I feel spent because I brought my heart, I gave my heart here. But okay, any questions, any reactions? What are you going to do differently? One of the questions I asked, like in the game plan, okay, because I really want you to invest in the academy. The price went up, by the way. One of the things that happen is every time you hear me say invest now, there's a cost that is associated for not responding to Toyin immediately. What happens is whenever you're ready, the price would have multiplied by 2, 3. I think from the beginning of this year till now, it's multiplied like 5 times. Because whenever I launch something, I try to invite everybody in. It's like, come, start at this price. And when people are like too busy for that, I'm like, okay, let me just put it, the value of this thing is 50K more US dollars. So I'm still I'll keep increasing it, because you know why? If people, right, the value you put on your future is the value you pay. So whenever I say, oh, I've lowered the barrier, I want everybody to access it, I know that many people will still say, oh, no, they don't want to pay the price. But guess what? From January till now, you've already paid the price one way or the other. But you've still not gotten what you want. So I would invite people, I'll keep inviting people, but I'll also let you know. Just like it's like running an airline. The more you get closer to it, the price goes up. It doesn't go down. It goes up. And for me, whenever I start something, I lower the barrier. I do like reverse, like some people will start high. It's just an interesting thing. But for me, I don't want anybody to have an excuse. So I start it at a certain price. And when I see that, okay, people think they can get this anywhere else, you know what? I'm going to raise it back to where it belongs. And then those who want to really invest that level and transform their life, then it's what you value at the end of the day. So I invite you to join us. It's the only one of its kind. Trust me, it replaces your need for 10 coaches. Mindset work, business development, branding, marketing, sales, like over 300 resources, everything, the A to Z you need. That's what I've dedicated myself to put together. And it's worth so much more. So much more. So this last 1 hour, 2 hours, what is it worth to you? What has it done for you? Think about that and imagine having this every day for the next, right, year. I always say invest at least a year in radical transformation, because it took us 20 years to become the perfect employee. How you got here took you how many years? To transform. Listen, anybody that tells you, oh, take this class, take that class, they lie. It's a lie. Transformation takes time, focus, attention, and it's constant. It's constant. That's it. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to close out now. Good to see you, Miss Lucy. Oh, yeah, I've seen your message. I'll drop the link to the message, okay? Awesome. Thank you for being here. God bless you all. Let me start closing out right now. Bye. Okay, close LinkedIn. Let me close Clubhouse. Bye. And then Instagram. I hope you had a great time. I hope you enjoyed it. Give me feedback. Private message me, okay? I'm gonna close it now.